Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living Proof Live. We're so excited. Deepa and I are going to be recording a podcast series to help you live your best and most amazing life. My name is Sachin,
Hi, my name is Deepa.
and we're super thrilled to be sharing this information with you because it helps highlight the way we help people, helps highlight our life's work, and most importantly, it helps you live your absolute best life. So I want to start a little bit off by why we're sharing this information. We believe that education and inspiration is what the masses need right now. We believe that practical and sustainable habit change is what everyone needs right now. And we also believe that we have this amazing capacity to heal that we've never been really taught how to tap into. And we want to use this opportunity as a chance to share that with you, to share with you and your loved ones exactly how you can live out your best life. You know, one of the biggest challenges that we're facing right now is we're all waiting until we develop some sort of disease before we do something about our health. And we want to change that narrative. We want to take a radically different approach to your health where health is based on health creation instead of disease prevention. Because what I've learned over the years is what we fear, we facilitate. And the things that we give energy to through a preventive process, we actually end up creating in the process. So living proof to me is really a mission. It's a vision. It's a movement where we are doing our best to help create for you the best life that you possibly can. And we're doing that by living into that example. That's why it's called Living Proof and not I read about it in a book institute, right? So we're not just, we're not just learning information and disseminating it, we're applying it into our lives and then sharing that back with you. So living proof to me means so many things. It's a way of life. It's a way of contributing. It's a way of, really achieving the greatest ability to become your best self. Living proof also means to me, how we can live a blueprint, right? How we can actually create a blueprint and share that blueprint with others that we know, love, and absolutely care about. Deepa, what does living proof mean to you?
So, in terms of what living proof means to me, it's basically, as Sachin said, it's a movement. It's about our health, our wellness, our overall well-being, and it's also about our values. And one of our most important values is paying it forward. And I think we don't share it enough, but we have such a beautiful initiative in terms of how we contribute back. With the support of our community, it takes a whole village. We support a living proof clinic in Butebi, Uganda, which allows 5 surrounding villages access to healthcare and healthy labors and delivery. There's an orphanage, a school associated with it, a food bank, and it's just an amazing project that our whole community has been able to put together. So that's, one of our greatest values is paying it forward as well.
Awesome. I love that. Living proof is an acronym, and I wanted to discuss and share what those each and every individual letter represents. So first of all, it's all about love, and our mission and vision for you and everyone around you is to really teach you how to love yourself to life. The next one is intention, living a life filled with intention and doing things with a deep sense of purpose. We don't just do things for the sake of them. We do them with a very loving and positive and meaningful intention. The next one is vitality. We believe in vitalism, which is not just preventing disease, not just living an average life, but living a vital, abundant, and amazingly healthy life. We also believe in a concept that I learned in chiropractic college called innate intelligence, which is, really tapping into that, that energy that animates the entire universe, animates every single cell in our bodies, animates the cells in plants. The biology of life is animated by this energy. In fact, everything is animated by this intelligent energy. We call that innate intelligence. The next one is nurturing, whether we're nurturing our patients and clients to better health, or whether we're nurturing our families or nurturing our bodies. nurturing is a big part of what we believe in. Also giving, and more so paying it forward. How do we take the abundance that we all have, and how do we pay it forward? How do we pay our health forward? How do we pay our financial abundance forward? Big part of what we do is give. And as Deepa mentioned, that we have several ways that we do that, and we collaborate with so many other organizations to do that as well. And one thing that we also have is a scholarship. We give out scholarships at our university that Deepa and I met at McMaster University, so that we could, again, pay it forward. The P stands for positive, and the R stands for respectful. The O stands for optimistic, and the other O stands for open-minded, and open-hearted as well. And then, of course, the F stands for friends and family. So these are some of the values that we try to bring into our practice. And knowing those values, I think, is really important, because we want to make sure that if you're tuning into our message, if you're working with us in any capacity, that you know where we stand. And if these values align with you, then I feel that that makes for an awesome relationship to start with. Anything else you want to add to that, Deeps?
Well, I think you covered it well, but one of the other things that we really stand for is precision wellness, which I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit more about, but we really believe in being able to empower you with your health and with certain metrics that can really help you visually and objectively see that your health is moving in the right direction.
Yeah, that's a great one. And we will dive into that a little bit more, because, that does require a more in-depth conversation. And I'm excited to get into that. The other thing I wanted to mention is one of the things that we believe at the very core is that the doctor of the future is the patient, and that, we really need to put that responsibility and shift that responsibility back onto the individual, which we believe is really the only solution. I don't think we need more doctors or more nurses or more hospitals or more drugs. While that can be helpful in a crisis situation, I also believe that nothing can save us, and nothing can fix us better than we can fix ourselves. So what we actually need is more healthy people. That's the solution that we all want. So why don't we start with people who are relatively healthy, or even people who are unhealthy, and move them towards a path of better health instead of disease prevention? Because again, we don't want to wait until somebody gets cancer and then teach them how to eat. We don't want to wait until somebody develops, heart disease and then teach them how to move and think, right? Or what to eat, what not to eat, and so many other things that are important to our health. We want to teach people how to do these things from the very, very, very beginning, because imagine the health status that they could create. So, going into the precision wellness conversation, Deepa, tell me what precision wellness means to you.
So to me, it means having the ability to track certain metrics yourself without being reliant on lab work or expensive lab testing. So one of the things that we do with our clients in our program is we give them something called an Aura Ring. So the Aura Ring is included in our program, and what that does is it helps clients become more aware around how they're sleeping, how well they're handling stress, how they're moving throughout the day. And so with that awareness, they're able to make strategic behavior changes to modify and upgrade their lifestyle. So that really, as Sachin had mentioned, empowers the client to take their health into their own hands, because it almost gamifies things. When you see your sleep score being really low the next day, then it really motivates you and inspires you to take certain action steps to get a better sleep score, right? That's one of the things that the Aura Ring measures, is your overall sleep. So it really empowers you to make those decisions yourself, rather than being reliant on, lab testing or things like that, which don't really give us much information in terms of what we can do on a day-to-day basis, right? Lab testing, traditional lab testing and blood work is more end-stage disease. That's where it really shines. So, we like to, as Sachin said, empower our clients to make their own decisions and take responsibility over their health.
A couple of years ago, one of the things that we did was we did a side-by-side comparison, and we had a group of patients start care using, functional medicine lab testing and, traditional blood chemistry testing. And then we had a group of people and we started them on the foundational, most fundamental principles of health and wellness. And in about 4 weeks, we were able to kind of see where these individuals were. And one of the things that we realized is that many of the people who were kind of going the, lab testing route were still waiting for their lab results to come in. And the other clients who actually had started implementing some of the fundamentals, such as fasting, and we'll go into some of these things in a moment, they started seeing radical transformations in 4 weeks. And then that got us kind of scratching our heads, wondering, hey, what if we started everyone over here? What kind of transformations could we witness? Do you want to talk about that? Because I know that's a big part of our organization that you lead up is the Metabolic Reset, where we take people through a program that covers a lot of the foundational principles of their health. What kind of transformations did you start seeing, and what kind of revelations did you have through that process?
So our Living Light Metabolic Reset program really focuses on the foundations of a healthy lifestyle and nutrition. And our clients go from being, 20 to 30 pounds overweight to being able to, effortlessly lose that weight in a safe, effective way. In about 6 weeks, inflammation and pain decreases, their energy improves, sleep improves, digestion improves, skin improves. One of the main things that our clients report is that their anxiety even improves, their mental health improves, right? So just making simple strategic changes can really, make such difference in someone's life in such a short amount of time, right? I'm literally talking about 4 to 6 weeks. So it's just a transformational program that we really believe in and that we really, implement with all of our clients. Because what we found over the years is that people don't really need more lab testing. People really need to establish the basics. Right. A lot of our clients we're not doing a lot of the basics. So jumping to lab testing really doesn't make sense, because even if your labs do come back abnormal, you still have to do those basics to see those shifts.
Yeah, absolutely. And many people think that they've tried everything, right? We hear this over and over again. I don't know if you can help me. I've tried everything. And part of me, whenever I hear somebody say that, is, well, a piece of them, even if it's a tiny piece of them, still is in search of an answer, right? Otherwise, they would have given up. They wouldn't be on the webinar. They wouldn't be even having this dialogue or conversation telling you that they've tried everything if just a small piece of them didn't think that there was something out there and available to them. What do you say to that person? Like, when that comes up in conversation, how do you handle a conversation like that?
So I really try to use, a lot of stories, because I can empathize with someone who has really felt like they've tried everything, and then, they're investing all this time and money into something else, and they're a little bit fearful of whether it's going to work. So I really try to, use other clients' stories to help them get over that hump. And, I really try to highlight that our program is very unique, right? We focus on not just nutrition, not just exercise. We really try to take a whole health approach to optimizing their health. And, I think that one of the key differentiators is that we also, as I mentioned, include the Aura Ring, which really empowers people. And it's a tool that you'll have lifelong, right? So that's another difference, is that once the program's over, you still have this tool that's still giving you feedback and helping you to make your day-to-day decisions to maintain your healthy lifestyle. So, I try to just give them confidence that this is probably something that they haven't tried, and, really highlight other people's stories, because I literally do hear almost everyone say that they've tried everything, and, they're just like, well, what makes this so different? So, really try to highlight those differences and share other people's stories as well.
Yeah, another example that sticks out for me is when people are constantly changing their diet, for example. I've tried this diet, I've tried that diet, I've tried this, and nothing seems to work for me. And a simple question that I know you and I both ask is, have you tried changing how you eat? And so we get into the states in which they're trying to accomplish a goal. And of course, eating and digesting a meal is a parasympathetic activity, which means we're in a relaxed state. We're actually physiologically and biologically in the state of digesting our meal, which is different than being in the state of fight or flight and in a high stress, high cortisol state. And as soon as we ask that question, people are like, no, nobody's even brought that up to me, right? Many times we hear that they're eating super healthy food, but they may not be eating it the right way. And then that opens up the door for new conversations to take place as well, right? And sometimes people might feel like they're sleeping well, right? And a question we ask is, well, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? And they tell you they feel tired when they wake up in the morning, and then it makes you wonder if they actually are, sleeping well. So what we try to focus on, and what I love about the emphasis that you place when you work with your clients, is that you're really getting into the foundational principles instead of immediately jumping to supplementation, immediately jumping to lab testing, and assuming that something is wrong or broken with them, when in fact, in many cases, I would say 9 out of 10 cases, it's more of a user error where we're not using our body in the way it was intended to be used, or we're not optimizing our body using the lowest hanging fruits for us to accomplish that. And what people end up doing is they end up spending potentially a lot of time and money and energy on the wrong things, right? In fact, one of the things that we put a lot of emphasis on now is breathing, right? And, if you're not breathing right, then a lot of things in your body are not working the way they're supposed to. And so by using our breath, we can shift our physiology in the right direction, in the direction of our goal that we're trying to accomplish. And very few people are having these types of conversations with their practitioners, because they might jump a little bit forward into more advanced strategies when the fundamentals and the basics, the stuff that's actually free, hasn't been evaluated or hasn't been addressed. And I bring this up because there's really no pill to help you breathe better. You've got to do the work, right? There's no pill for you to resolve grudges or to have a healthy relationship, or there's really no pill to replace the sun and being out in nature and connecting and being grounded with this amazing planet that we live on. So certain things we cannot, no matter how much money we have, or no matter how many advancements in science occur, there's certain things that we can never replace. We actually have to do the work. And that's what I love about the recommendations you give, and then correspondingly the results that people get. And because they're getting the Aura Ring, they're seeing radical shifts in their body's function, not just based on how they feel, but they're getting objective information. And what I love about that is that it creates a very short feedback loop. So they can know, hey, if what I'm doing is working, they can see the next morning if they made good decisions that support their health, or if they made decisions that kind of move them in the wrong direction. So having shorter feedback loops is a big part of our vision and mission, and why we use wearable technology, because then we know, and the client themselves know right away, that this is working. This is getting you to shift your body and move your body in a direction that's favorable to your long-term objective. If we're waiting several months in between collecting data points with lab testing, let's say, then we don't know if we're on the right path until we redo that testing. So this gives us more certainty. It's something that can be layered on top. Even if you are doing testing, you can layer this type of information and data on top of the protocol that you have your clients on, so that they're getting the best of both worlds. And a big thing that we also talk about, and I want you to talk about this, is a mind, body, spirit approach. Why do all three have to be in place in order for people to accomplish great health?
So we really want to address the body, which is what most practitioners and clients want to focus on the body, right? We want to see those physical changes. We want to see a decrease in maybe inflammation or pain. We want, our sleep to improve, our digestion to improve. So that's all important. And that's certainly a huge part of our program. But we also want to focus on the mind and the spirit as well, because if we don't focus on the mind, then we may revert back to old patterns, right? So we really want to focus on the mind so that people become aware of their patterns, right? We all have, childhood conditioning, which we need to explore. And when they go through our program, a lot of that childhood conditioning comes up. And I always tell people that that's a good thing, because that gives you an opportunity to dive deeper into addressing the mind and the spirit aspects of health, right? Which are not always discussed. So we really want to take time to sit with our emotions that are coming up, journal about them, rather than distract with, food or alcohol or whatever you may have used in the past to kind of stuff down your emotions. We want those emotions to come to the surface, and we want our clients to explore and dig a little deeper in terms of why certain things are coming up for them. So we really want to, take that whole mind, body, spirit approach and have you address not just the physical body, but all the other aspects and layers of your health and well-being as well, because it's all one piece of the puzzle, right?
I love that. Such a all-encompassing approach, which is what many people are looking for these days, right? One thing I would love for you to highlight is who does well in a model like this, because some people might be listening to this and saying, this is exactly what I want. Some people might be listening to this and saying, this is not what I want. I want someone else to fix me. I want someone else to, have sleepless nights trying to figure out how I'm going to get healthy. Instead, there's a certain type of person that does well in a process like this. Can you speak to that a little bit? Who does well with a program like this?
So we really feel like people who do well are people who want that mind, body, spirit approach, someone who's not really looking for that quick fix, someone who really wants to take personal responsibility and ownership over their health, someone who wants to learn the skills and not just pop a pill and, not really get to the root cause of why things are showing up for them. And, someone who's really looking to, up-level their purpose in life too, right? So when we're not feeling well, then we're really stuck in our own mind, we're stuck in our own body. But when we start feeling well, we can start to help others, we can start to live a more fulfilling life. So that's the kind of person that I feel does really well with a program like our Living Light Metabolic Reset program. Basically someone who's looking to take their health to the next level and address all facets of their health.
Yeah, I love that. It used to be such that the information that's available to us now was never available to us. It used to be such that this information was bottled up inside somebody's brain or in some obscure textbook in the medical library. And now all the information that we need to know in order for us to be healthy is available online, right? There's lots of podcasts, there's lots of books, there's tons of documentaries out there. But still, people continue to suffer and struggle. Do you have any theories as to why and what the missing link is if all this information is available to people?
Sometimes I think that a lot of it comes down to someone's self-worth. So, and sometimes we're scared to take that next step and step out of what we're so used to identifying with, right? Some of us get very attached to our diagnoses or to the way things are for us because, sometimes I know it might sound a little disheartening, but we get a lot of attention, right? When we are maybe ill or not feeling well. And so it's hard to let go of that identity. And so sometimes I feel like even though all that information is out there, if we have a hard time of releasing that identity, and if we feel like we have low self-worth, then we may not take that next step.
Okay. We also had a discussion a few weeks ago about generational trauma and how not not having the capacity to truly love yourself, or being modeled from your childhood that the mom or the dad puts everyone else's health first, and is a martyr, and essentially burns himself out. And that in some way is a badge of honor in many cultures, but that trauma has to break, right? So let's talk about that a little bit, because I do think that that's an important thing for us to realize, is that if we have children especially, then we can stop that trend. We can lead by example. We can be role models for our family and show them what self-love and self-care looks like, so that we can impart that onto them and break that cycle of parents putting themselves last. And in particular, this is mostly the moms that do this, right? The moms usually put themselves last, and they put everyone else ahead of themselves, first their children, then maybe their spouse, and then they're usually last in line. So what would you say to that topic? Like, how would you inspire and encourage, let's just talk to the moms here for a moment, to break that cycle of generational trauma?
So as Sachin said, I think it really starts with role modeling that to our children. And I know it's hard. I still find it hard. I'm still a work in progress. We always want to serve others, and it gives us a sense of purpose and identity to play that role. But, I think the only way to break it is if we start saying no sometimes, and speak our truth more, and step more into, it's not about being selfish, but if we don't prioritize our health and our self-care, then it's going to be very hard for us to take care of others later on down the road if we just burn ourselves out. So, we really have to take small steps, right? And I think it starts with, doing things that might be uncomfortable sometimes, right? And especially as your children get older, like my son now is almost 11, and, instead of, I try to have him, make his own breakfast now, for example, right? Once in a while, I'll still do it for him, but he's old enough to do that. And sometimes when I allow him to make his own breakfast, I sometimes feel a little bit of guilt, but, I really feel like it's important it's going to serve him later down the road too, right? Instead of babying him and doing everything for him just because it gives me a sense of purpose. I think, slowly we got to start letting go and let them fly out of the nest, right? Even the other day, my mom was over, and I broke my foot a few weeks ago. So she's been over a few days to help out. And, I think all moms do this. I've seen your mom do it all the time too, is they want to serve everyone their dinner, and then everyone's eating, and by the time you're done your dinner, they're coming to sit down at the table, right? So it's, and that's a very traditional Indian thing to do, but I think that, even changing small patterns like that, like bringing the food to the table and putting a spoon in it, and everyone serve themselves, right? And sometimes it can make other family members uncomfortable, but, I think that it really serves as an opportunity for us to kind of detach from that role so much and become so close knit to that role, and really start prioritizing our health and our well-being first.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, we try to do our best, all three of us, me, you, and Devin, to try to sit down and have a meal together. So I can definitely attest that you're doing a great job in breaking that cycle. It is hard, right? Because again, it's in many cultures, it's a badge of honor for you to put yourself last. And really, if we're going to see the transformations that we know everyone deserves, then it's going to be about putting ourselves first so that we can pour into other people's cups. I really appreciate that, because it's so interesting that I would want nothing more than to sit down and have dinner with my mom. And that doesn't happen as often as I like, even though we're at their place or having dinner, in the same household. It's oftentimes mom that will join us last. So I'm grateful on Devin's behalf that we all get to sit and enjoy dinner together.
Yeah. I think it's just, make small shifts, right? Because sometimes it can like shake up the household if all of a sudden you start saying no to everything. So just my recommendation would be to just make those small shifts and, explain why you're doing it too, right? And I think that at the end, your children are going to be better human beings by seeing you take care of yourself first, especially for those of you who even have daughters, right? You don't want to pass on that same mom guilt to them, right? So really stressing the importance of them being able to take care of themselves as well first.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, going back to this living proof mantra, right? Which is it starts with us, and it's hard for us to have any integrity and tell our kids to do something if we're not doing it ourselves. So the best thing that we can do is role model this to other people, amongst other behaviors, right? We can role model what it means to go outside and put our feet in the grass. We can role model what it means to emphasize eating healthy. We can role model what it means to staying physically active. We can role model what it means to going to bed on time, right? So there's so many ways and so many opportunities for us to role model health and be that living proof for our family unit. And I just love that we get to do this. Like, it's so cool that we get to do this for a living, help people live more, live better, live a higher quality and more intentional and purposeful life, which then leads to generational changes that come along with that. With that being said, what are some of the changes that you've seen in some of your clients? Is there like a story that jumps out at you that you want to share today before we wrap things up?
Yeah, so a perfect story that comes up is a client of mine who she initially reached out to me last August, and she really wanted to lose some weight. That was one of her primary goals. She was feeling really low energy. With the pandemic, she had a lot of stress. Her whole family was home. She had to work from home. She had 2 young kids, and she had a lot on her plate. She's feeling a lot of anxiety. And she reached out to me, and, I spoke to her a little bit about our program. And at the time she's like, well, I don't know if I have time. So, I'll come back to this another time. So, nothing transpired from that conversation. But then come January 1st, I was looking at my email and I saw her registration come through. So it took her a few months, but she basically realized that what she was doing was not working for her. She continued to gain more weight. Her energy continued to decline. She continued to have more anxiety. And so she knew she had to try something different. So, she registered for the program, and through the process, within 6 weeks, she released 26 pounds, energy improved. And I think the biggest takeaway from all of that was not just the transformation that she saw in herself, but the transformation that she was able to bring to her family as well. So she sent me a picture just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was a picture of her counter, and it was full of healthy fruits and vegetables. And she just said, thank you so much for improving the health of my entire family, right? Like I said, she has 2 young kids, and through modeling and changing her lifestyle behaviors and her nutritional patterns, sleep patterns, exercise patterns, she can now role model that to her family, right? And now they're eating healthier. Her husband's, released some weight as a result of this process, and eating more healthy and feeling better, more energetic. So it trickles down to the whole family unit, which is what we really, brings us a lot of joy, right? That it's not just when we teach people lifestyle skills versus just giving them a pill, we're transferring those skills to everyone around them, the whole family unit, even their friends, right? They start seeing how they're eating healthy and start asking questions, getting more curious, and they even start making healthier changes. So, yeah, it's just a beautiful experience and transformation for the entire family.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that this can ripple out so much further, right? Because you're teaching skills that they can teach to other people. You're teaching skills that they can teach to their children, but also skills that they can teach to their parents, right? So this can have a multi-generational effect and impact. And one of the things that is missing currently in our society is our elders, like our parents and our grandparents, the world has changed so much since they were children, or since in some cases, even when they were like younger or middle-aged adults. In the last 20 years, think about how much our food supply has changed, how much our environment has changed, how much marketing has changed, right? How much our brain chemistry has been changed and adulterated. All of these things uh, were things that our parents couldn't prepare us for. So it's really not our fault as adults, because our parents had no idea how the world was going to change, and especially how much it's changed in that short period of time. So it's really up to us to get a new upgraded operating system and learn that from people who are actually operating through that lens, right? Our typical practitioners, bless their hearts. If you go see your doctor, I mean, these are great people, fantastic, amazing human beings, but they're going to only be able to help you once you're sick. So to benefit from the services of our current medical establishment, you have to be sick enough for them to do something for you. And even if that's the case, and you finally get a diagnosis and you're finally put on an algorithmic treatment plan, that's all they're going to focus on. The goal is never really to focus on your optimal health and revitalization. It's more so, how do we patch you back up so you're somewhat functional? What I love about the work that you do, Deepa, and the work that Alice does and the rest of our team does is we help people totally revitalize themselves and become the best operating version of themselves, upgrade their operating system, upgrade their biology, upgrade their their connection with their self, upgrade their role in their family, and upgrade the health of everyone around them. So it truly is a very impactful way of disseminating information, and essentially everyone in the proximity of that person benefits. And the beautiful thing about learning skills and teaching skills is those skills improve over time, as opposed to a pill bottle, for example. The pills run out after a month. And we're not here to tell you, not to take supplements or not to do any lab testing. But what we do want to say is that there's an immense opportunity to go from wherever you are right now and then apply some of the fundamentals, which we'll be covering throughout the series of interviews that we do. Apply those fundamentals, and then the testing has more value, and then the supplementation has more value, and then the more granular stuff has so much more value. What would you say to somebody, Deeps, who's listening to this and is feeling inspired to take some sort of meaningful action? Is there a good place that they can go? Maybe we can send them to 30 and 30, or maybe there's another tool that you have. Like, what are your thoughts? Where's a good place for people to start?
Yeah, so I truly believe that when someone's first starting out on a health journey, that you may want to start with some more simpler changes. So our morning routine is a great place for people to start. So if you go to www.morningroutine.ca, you can download a free copy of our morning routine. It's very simple, actionable steps that you can take to optimize your morning routine, because a good morning is going to set you up for a great day and a great night's sleep as well. So that's an excellent resource for people to start with. We have several resources, but I'll leave one for now so people don't get super overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic resource, right? It's less than 30 minutes, and it's a way to optimize your morning. And take the things that you're probably already doing, do them a little bit more intentfully, do them in a slightly upgraded way, and tap into something that we call the compound effect. And the compound effect is where you do several things just a little bit better to get this compounded effect at the end of the day. And of course, if you're willing to change your morning, as Robin Sharma would say, is a microcosm of your day, which is a microcosm of your week, your month, your quarter, your year, your decade, and then eventually your lifetime. So if you're willing to change and upgrade and dial in your morning routine, you will see a global benefit throughout the rest of your day, week, and so on and so forth. So that's a great place to start. You go to morningroutine.ca and you can get started immediately, and you'll get guided by Deepa, and she'll share some powerful information to help you get started. And Deepa, you've also written a book as well. So maybe you can talk about that just a little bit, and then we'll wrap things up for today.
Yeah, so I've written a book which really empowers you to implement some of the lifestyle changes that we were talking about, really optimize your sleep, your digestion, clean up your home environment, because that's a super important part when it comes to health and healing. So it's just a really great little tool book of some really simple and actionable steps that you can take to optimize your health and your lifestyle. And you can get a free copy of that book if you go to www.dipasfreebook.com. You can get a free copy of that book as well.
All right. Yeah, that book is loaded with amazing information. I remember when you gave it to one of our family members during a Christmas party, and they sat there and read the whole thing during the party, and they're like, "Oh my God, this book is amazing." I still remember that. I was so
Yes.
proud of you for writing the book, and I was so proud of him for taking action. And it was so practical the way you shared the information. It's such a um, it's a short enough book that you can get through it in a couple of hours, but it's so impactful that the benefits will last you a lifetime. So thank you for putting that resource together. I know it's taken you several years to acquire the knowledge that's in there and then to package it up in a book for everyone to benefit from. So a couple of resources for all of you. One is morningroutine.ca and deepasfreebook.com. Check out those resources, learn more about Living Proof. We're really, truly here to embody what it means to lead by example. And our ultimate objective is to teach you how to become, your best doctor. We believe that the doctor of the future is the patient. We believe in precision wellness. We believe that nothing can fix you better than you can fix yourself. And we believe that the only solution to our healthcare crisis is more healthy people. And we're going to do whatever we can to help people get healthier from the comfort of their homes, because that's, again, where true health and healing starts, is in the comfort of our homes, so that we can benefit not only ourselves, but the people we love and care about us around us. So thank you, Deepa, for sharing a little bit more about you and your vision and your mission. And I'm just so excited to walk this path with you. And this is an exciting, start to this project that we're working on as part of putting this series of educational talks and videos and podcasts and stuff like that together. The world needs to hear more of this information. There's never been a better time. And I'm so excited to be your partner on this journey to help as many people as we can. Anything else you want to say before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It'll be, transformational for a lot of people, getting our message out there and just empowering people with their health and living their best life. So yeah, I'm excited and super grateful for being on this journey with you as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for listening today. We wish you amazing health. We wish you a positive mindset and so much abundance. Lots of love, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.